Yeah. Woke up with a vision, it's Professor Bear's day. Ruling the game, coming hard, paving his way. Thoughtful and smart, yeah, the wisdom of man. In a world full of shadows, he's breaking the cap. Tightening up knowledge, hear the people cheer. With every step forward, he's shifting the gears. Professor Bear, yeah, he's claiming the state. With the power of wisdom, watch the ground shake. No mountain too high, no challenge too tough. When you roll with the bear, you know it's
beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good.
Wrestling Society Network. History, heart, and two paws up, baby. This is a Bear's Thoughts, breaking down the legends, the stories that shaped the squared circle. Professor Bear, old school wrestling like you ain't never heard it before. Hosted by the man with more knowledge than steel cages got steel. Only on the Wrestling Society Network.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thought. And today, our episode is brought to you in part by Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. Now, if you're anything like I was as a kid, wrestling was my life. So with action figures and all types of toys, my dad was a big wrestling fan, so he bought me a little wrestling ring. And man, I would take all my figures and make my own federation and just go bonkers with it.
Jeff still does that, like today.
Dude, no.
Well,
they're collectibles.
Yeah, they're collectibles.
Yes, collectibles. So, back to my promo. I got a job at Toys R Us. And if you don't know what Toys R Us is, look it up. Now, I got all the wrestling figures. But, after a while and having a family, I just couldn't go ahead and buy figures. Kids want to eat and all that good crap. But one day I'm cleaning out my garage, and lo and behold, I find a couple of boxes of figures. Oh, man, my original ECW figures. I was like, oh, man, yeah. But I could probably use the money right now, so I thought, well, I'm going to sell them. But I'm too lazy to get online and to sell figures. That's just too much work. So, luckily for me, I found a great place that does collectibles, and it's in Clinton, Tennessee. So if you're in the East Tennessee area, it's right up y'all alley. Troy, Tag Team Toys and Collectibles have everything. They have action figures, wrestling figures. They have the accessories. They have title belts. They have VCR tape. If you don't know what VCRs is, rewind back to the beginning and you can see one.
If you do know what a VCR is, you might need to get back to this. Yeah. They have comic books. They have so many great different things. Now, what you need to do is go on Facebook and look up
Tag Team Toys and Collectibles and check them out. Hey, they may even be able to mail you stuff, but check them out. They're a great, great location. And my other sponsor is Chops Cards and Print-On Collectibles. Now, again, I told you I was a giant nerd, still am. And I used to collect baseball cards, football cards, wrestling cards, whatever. I used to have them. And I thought to myself, one day I'm going to have my own. Nothing is going to stop me, except that I'm not athletic. I'm lazy. But, you know, I just gave up on that dream, sadly, until I found Chops Cards and Print-On Demands. They make personalized trading cards, and they are just so awesome. I am working right now on Professor Bear trading cards. I am getting 18 great cards for $50. How in the world could you beat that? Well, one way is to use my code BEAR15 and you get 15% off of your purchases. So, man, what are you waiting for? Go to Chops Cards and Print-On Demands and start your trading collection for yourself. They are the number one for independent trading cards. Now, I was going to start off like I generally do and introduce my guests, but right off the bat, I am pissed off because they want to bring up old stuff. Like they want to bring up my cousin getting beat up. I told them that in confidence, but no, they had to tell everybody that my cousin got beat up by Tracy Smothers. I don't appreciate that. I don't.
I mean, I just watched the video again, just a couple days ago.
He was bamboozled. I mean, I think Tracy should have put the young kid over clean. That's just me.
I love Tracy. Tracy, God rest your soul. You were such a good guy, but you did my cousin dirty. But anyway.
Tracy was the best, man. He really was. And see, that's one of the things. We're going to flip this on you and interview you a little bit. I was going to ask you, your cousin went into wrestling. You got another cousin that went into forest fire control, a cousin that steals picnic baskets. So what made you want to become a professor?
Because I was smarter than them.
So it's smarter than the average bear.
Yeah.
We should
mention
trademark that right now.
Don't mention that jerk. He's been blackballed from the family. He's too good to hang out with the rest of it because he's a star and everything. But again, I let you get your questions. Now I want to do the interview. Sure. So tell me, because this is always my first question, how did the faction get into wrestling as kids?
You want to go first?
Well, believe it or not, I can't tell you the first wrestling match I watched. I don't remember because it's kind of always been a thing, right? I can tell you what hooked me was, and again, going back, like you was talking about VHS and all that stuff, we're talking about PlayStation. We're talking about PlayStation, the OG PlayStation, the WrestleMania game that everybody hated because it was more like Mortal Kombat than a wrestling game, but it had Doink and it had The Undertaker and it had Shawn Michaels. And man, just, I don't know, there was something about that game that hooked me and I loved it. And then growing up, we were both WCW kids, but that's what got me into WWF. And just the game was super fun. I would play it with my cousins all the time. And then, after that, a couple years, it was the 64 games. And we just actually had this conversation with Buff Bagwell Saturday. When I was a kid, Buff, man, he was the stuff. And he was my champion in every single game. And Buff actually had little N64 cartridges with his picture on it. And just that's kind of what hooked me on pro wrestling. Now, the story of me getting into pro wrestling, that's a whole different thing. So I'll let Connolly go ahead with his real quick.
So wrestling has been a huge part of my entire life. One of my first memories is watching NWA wrestling with my dad. I'm a little bit older than him. You know, first wrestling match I actually remember watching is Sting versus Flair, Great American Bash 90. First real clear angle was Sting and Nikita Koloff. Specifically with the little kid where he was holding it, and he gave him a little high five right before Nikita Koloff came out. That was more so because I was jealous of the little kid.
I was a little Stinger too.
Yeah,
I was a little Stinger.
I still have my Stinger foam finger from Super Bowl VI at the house.
So you got to go to shows when you were a kid. I didn't. We were poor. So, like, I got to watch it if it was on, like, basic access. So, I grew up in the Carolinas, so we had Crockett and stuff like that. But, I mean, WCW was the thing, around that time. Honestly, one of the first matches I remember watching Junkyard Dog on a Saturday, who later went on to live with one of our mentors, Bo James. They were roommates for a long time. But it's just been one of those things that there's always been music, wrestling, and when I was a kid, I didn't collect the wrestling figures. I'm gonna go ahead and admit it. I didn't. I collected the Ninja Turtle figures. I had all the Ninja Turtles. I had all the bad guys. I had everybody, but I never had the little turtle van that shot the manhole covers. My cousin had it, and I still hate him to this day because he never let me play with it.
I had that.
You would have.
So I did get a few of the wrestling figures, but I was, and this is definitely going to date me, I was into the superpowers figures, Batman, Superman, and I had them all. So I had, this is really going to date me, I had a AWA wrestling ring. And so what I used to do, I used to gather all the guys up and I would break them off into teams. And then, because again, being from the South, it was NWA, WCW. So I just put on what I saw. I had the US champ, the world champ, and the tournaments went like this. The first tournament was the world champion. Then whoever lost to the eventual champ got a bye in the U.S. title match tournament. Then after that, whoever lost the U.S. title match got a bye in the television title. So, man, and funny enough, I wrote everything down. I still have all of it to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, my mom threw all my Ninja Turtle stuff away when I moved out, and all my comic book stuff. I mean, some kid probably got it, and I'm happy that kid got it. But I mean, if you could imagine just going back and having some of those like iconic figures from your childhood, a lot of those are probably worth a lot of money today. There's a specific turtle that like I still cannot find that I've always been looking for, and that's the Donatello where he's in the trench coat with the hat. Like you'll see him at like flea markets and stuff, but it's missing a finger, missing a hand, missing, like Donatello's an amputee. And I'm like, no, I need a pristine Donatello. That's like the one figure I want. I mean, we were lucky enough that years ago we got faction figures. We got me, Jeff, and then there's actually a third member of the faction, our boy Wild Bill. We're just the tag team unit of the group. So, I mean, that was cool. My kid has one of these dudes that he runs around and plays with and sometimes treats as a voodoo doll when he's mad at daddy. But, like, he took it to school and they're like, oh, what's that? And he's like, that's my dad. And that's not your dad. And my kid just doesn't understand that most parents don't go cover themselves in baby oil and wear spandex and, yell at a bunch of people on a microphone, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week. This is normal life for him. Like, he's met world champions. He's hung out with Sin Cara. He's, 1 year he wanted to be Crazy Steve from TNA for Halloween. And I said, well, what about his makeup? I don't think I can do his makeup. Can you do his makeup? And he's maybe it's like 3 or 4 years ago. So he's like 5 or 6. And he's like, oh, I don't know how to do Crazy Steve's makeup. And I was like, well, I know a guy. So we took him to Crazy Steve's house. And Crazy Steve hooked him up with the T-shirt, with the dog tag. He got like a bandana, I think. And Steve did his makeup. And he's like, Daddy, that Steve friend of yours, he's really not, like, it didn't hit him. Like, the guy just did your gimmick, brother. Like, you got, like, that would be like me and him, little stingers, getting the Surfer Sting face paint done by the man himself. And then, like, it finally hit him like a year later. Dad, is Steve, is he crazy? I'm like, a little bit. And he's like, no, Dad, is Steve Crazy Steve? And I'm like, I thought you knew that. But,
my kids don't really care.
No. Well, your oldest has kind of got into like the wrestling video games and stuff.
Dexter's into it, but my oldest daughter and my youngest son.
It's like coming home and trying to talk The Office. My wife is a wrestling photographer. She's a damn good one. But if she ain't booked on the show, she ain't trying to watch my match. I'll come home and we don't watch a lot of our stuff, but if there's something that we're working on or something that we liked or something that we didn't like, we might go back when we get the footage and I might try to roll it by her, roll it by my kid. And they're just like, yeah, Dad's work. Yeah, this is what you do. We know you've done it my whole life. And it's like, all right, cool. But like, then when one of your friends are like, dude, I saw this match that you did and it was like nuts. And I'm like, I've not even seen that yet. Like, where did you find that? But they're totally, like, 9 years old, totally unimpressed by it. All of his friends think it's the coolest thing in the world now that they know it's real, because some of them have like come to shows. For a long time, I didn't work at home. I didn't work in East Tennessee. I was more on the road. He was still here, but it's like, oh, your dad's friends with that wrestler. And I'm like, that wrestler is my tag partner, bro.
Hey, just wait until Mavi becomes a teenager. His friends are going to start trying to challenge you.
I don't know, man. Like, my kid has already had 3 professional matches, and he's not like, my kid has worked in front of 1,000 plus 2 different times. We had a festival down in Johnson City where it was in the middle of the streets, the Umoja Festival. And I remember at the time I'm the champion of this company and I'm getting ready for my match. And I think I'm like 2 matches down and somebody's bootstrap broke or like something happened with their gear. And they're like, bye, Tom. And they just radio back in, because we're in a completely different building. They just radioed in and said, oh, we're gonna let the kids get in the ring and do a dance contest. And we're like, cool, that works. Give us 5 minutes so dude can change his laces out. And so my wife was actually hired to shoot that by the city that's doing the festival. I'm in the back getting ready for my match. And they just come back on the radio. Somebody found Baker. And I'm like, what happened? What's wrong? And they're like, so your kid's in the ring and he won't get out. I'm like, yeah, his dad's the champion. It's his ring. So next thing you know, I was like, all right, this is perfect. I said, hit my music. Just hit my dang music. So here I come, the big heel. And none of these people, and like I said, there's 800-900, close to 1,000 people in the streets. None of them know that's my kid. And I come in, get on the microphone, and I'm like, which one of you irresponsible redneck pieces of garbage left your kid in my ring? You better come claim him now or I'm going to stomp him like a pancake. And then I just turn the microphone off. I'm like, kick daddy in the knee, hit the ropes, splash me, 1, 2, 3. And my kid's been around wrestling his whole life, man. So like he picks up on stuff. What I didn't know is the referee was going to actually slide in and count the 3. So then I had to explain to the promoter why I just lost his heavyweight title to a 5-year-old. But being a heel, we've got a little bit more freedom to be goofy.
Right.
We don't have to be taken serious all the time. Man, that was such great heat. Like, it was perfect. The crowd went crazy. And like, I've got a picture of him standing over me, holding his hand up. And they're like, you know what? This is a 2-night event. We're going to run it back with the TV champ tomorrow. So then he beat the TV champ. And then I think, oh no, he's up to 4 matches. He beat the women's champ of that same company. And then last year we did a New Year's Eve show.
Yeah.
And the fans were still there. And like, we couldn't get him out the door fast enough. And Wild Bill, the third member of the faction, got in the ring with Maverick, and they're just playing around. So my son just started beating the crap out of him. So like, he's still got a crowd. That counts. It's a wrestling show. I was like, he just ghost main evented this show. So,
to be fair, he was beating the crap out of me at bowling the other day.
yeah, he's beating the crap out of me. He's got a habit of walking up to guys. If he knows that you're a wrestler, it doesn't matter. You're getting chopped. It doesn't matter. Headbutts, chops. He'll take the arm. I remember one time we did like a birthday party show for one of his friends, and all the kids were in the ring. And he's like, "Daddy, I'm getting in the ring." I'm like, "All right, have fun. Don't get hurt." And somebody shoved him way too hard, and he got out of the ring. And on his life, Connolly will vouch because he heard him say this. This kid shoves my kid down to the mat too hard, and my kid rolls out of the ring and says, "Somebody needs to teach them how to work." I was like, "Oh, brother."
Oh my goodness. Now, first off, I'm jealous that he has more professional matches than me.
Yeah, but the magic's still alive. The magic is very much still alive. He knows that when Daddy goes to a town, they pay him to be nice or they pay him to be mean. So that's all he needs to know for now. We're not ready to be like, "Hey, brother, Santa Claus," that gimmick, the Easter Bunny, that kind of stuff. So, keep the magic alive for him as long as we can. And we do that with kids.
Oh my goodness.
We're in 2025. A lot of people know the deal. A lot of people think they're smart. Those are the easiest people to work.
Yeah.
They really are. But when it comes to a little kid, man, if people come up to our table and they try to buy something, we're there to make money. It's a business. But if a little kid wants an autograph, man, we're bad guy, good guy. It doesn't matter. We're taking care of the little kid. We might be, and we've been told by younger wrestlers, because we're really freaking old now, we started wrestling because you. And it's like, that's crazy.
So one thing that just happened, we lost internet for about 20 seconds. So you were rambling on.
I tend to do that. It's kind of my gimmick.
That's why I keep him around.
Yeah. Technical wrestler, microphone guy.
So, wow. So that was a great story. Again, I'm jealous because I'm 52 years old and just at 51 got in the wrestling ring for the first time. So, I'm a little hurt by that. But hey, everybody can't be into it like that. So, hey.
He's a legacy, man. He's a legacy.
So explain to me how y'all both got into the business.
Well, he got in about a year or two before me, so I'll throw it to him first.
So, to protect some boys, I'm not going to mention any names, but I was the bouncer and DJ at a gentleman's entertainment facility that the boys like to frequent. And they heard me on the microphone and like, "Dude, this guy needs to be a manager." And those types of clubs typically don't happen to have security because it's gentlemen, so
of course
I'm the dude. I'm the only dude working there besides the manager, who never would come out of the office. So if something went down, I'm the ring announcer, I'm the bouncer, I'm the security, I had to do all of it. So like, they would come in and I would pop them, like I would play wrestling themes and stuff like that. But eventually, like, they happened to be there on a night where stuff went down, and we didn't really have a lot of fights because in that type of entertainment, there's no reason to fight. But they got there one night when there was a fight, and they're like, "Oh, dude can handle himself." Well, before I was there, I've bounced at almost every bar or club in the Tri-Cities. I was bouncing while wrestling. If I didn't have a booking, I was working at a bar. So, I mean, and you'll see that in a lot of my matches. A lot of the stuff that I do in the ring is things that I would do in a bar fight. I'm not the most flashy wrestler. I'm not going to hit you with like a 450, obviously, at my size. But like, you know, Uranagis, STOs, suplexes, chokeholds, you know, real fight stuff. Shout out Damian Wayne.
Hey.
Real fight stuff. That kind of just carried over. And a certain local wrestling company that we may or may not be the tag champions of, they brought me in and they're like, hey, we like this guy. So they put me with their ace, a dude named Robbie Cassidy. And Robbie got injured maybe 5 or 6 months into training me. So then the promoter, the GOAT, the Dragon, bleep, Tony, the Dragon Givens, he took over training. And I trained with him for a little while. And then Conley came in about a year later. And it wasn't as much as they were training me at first. They were just beating me up to see if I'd still come back kind of deal.
Right.
And I did because I'm stubborn. And then they hired this really, really jacked guy that they wanted to make a star. So then they're like, okay, we're going to actually teach Baker to wrestle so he can be this guy's bump dummy. And then Conley came in after that. Conley wasn't that jacked guy. No, he was not that jacked guy. Conley came in.
Jack guy lasted like a year.
Yeah, a year tops, a year max. Conley came in and we immediately started riding together. He came in, you came in as the video guy. Like you started the camera, right?
Okay. So let's jump back for me a little bit. I got in a little bit late. I was 27 when I first started training.
Old.
Yeah. And this was 2010. So I was in the Army, got out, and I just seen a MySpace ad for, you know, what was then called Championship Wrestling Alliance. And I messaged, I was like, how do I get involved? And he was like, I'm actually training people right now. And I was like, okay.
MySpace is like a thing that, you know, like Twitter. We predate Twitter in the wrestling business. Like we have been around longer than.
We predate Facebook.
Did we predate Facebook? Are
yes.
we really that old?
So I came in, trained with Robbie one time. He was like, okay, take a bump.
You're already better than Baker.
Take another bump. Do one more. Shit, you already got it.
And that was it. We didn't have the luxury of a wrestling school. But we were on TV. My first match was on TV. We learned on the fly. We learned in the ring. We learned at live shows. And then Tony would have us to his house, you know, Sundays, and his wife would cook us spaghetti, and we would watch wrestling, and we would set the ring up. And that was part of it. Yeah, we weren't backyard wrestlers. We were carport wrestlers, by God.
Yeah.
But that was part of it. Like, you have to know how to set this ring up. You have to know what a good ring feels like. And that ring did not feel good. In fact, I actually fell through that ring, like to the floor when he shot me off the ropes one time.
Last training day.
The very last day that we ever trained in that ring.
I trained about a month before my first match. First match was a battle royal. Second match was a squash match. Third match was
who eliminated you in that battle royal?
You did.
Yeah, I did.
After that, I really went on the road with Chase Owens and Sigmund for the most part. I was on the road with Chase about 4 days a week. And really, I claim Chase and Sigmund as the ones who, you know, that's where I got the advanced training. And Tony and Robbie Cassidy, more so Tony, is who broke me in.
Yeah. The guy that broke me in, actually, his name's Cyrus Fees. He was a ring announcer for the UFC. He's currently the ring announcer for Bare Knuckle Fight Club. And actually, the Hogan deal, he's the color commentator for
Real American Freestyle.
Play-by-play, right?
Yeah.
For Real American Freestyle. So now he works under Eric Bischoff. It was more of, you won't go train to do this. And I'm like, no, I won't. And he's like, yeah, you need to come train to do this. And I was like, I'm good. And then, I mean, I ended up training to do it. And almost 20 years later, I'm still here. So
that is. So what's amazing about your journey, and of course, most wrestlers' journeys are totally different, but y'all have the old school feel of, okay, if you really want to learn this, you got to pay the price.
And we're the last of the old school guys here.
And what I like about that is that y'all don't take it for granted. You love what you do. You know the importance of doing it correctly, and it shows in your work and in your dedication. And for me, and being an old school guy that's watched wrestling since the 70s, that I can't remember, but definitely the 80s, it means a lot more in the work and what you see and the being presented. Yeah. And hopefully that the younger talent that works with y'all understands and gets something from what y'all do.
I appreciate that. I've, like, the last 5 years, my biggest goal is to pass it on.
Keep it all for myself, brother. All for me.
Well, one of the more up and coming talents in the area is, like, I helped train him, Evan Golden.
Jeff Baker. Oh wait, no.
No, Wild Bill claims I trained him though. But you know, I tore my ACL and I came back. Easy Money was just like, hey, you know, you want to come to the house? I have Eddie Golden's kid that's training to be a wrestler. And basically Eddie wasn't taking bumps. Easy wasn't taking bumps. So get me. And Eddie loves me, and he just kind of let me just run it.
And, you know, like, we've got one foot in the old school. We've got one foot in the new school. We didn't have the opportunity to have a wrestling training school. So we work really close with the wrestling training school here that Innovate Wrestling does their shows with, NetPro Studios. We're not trainers there. We're, you know, friends of the school, and occasionally we'll drop in, you know, once, twice a month. You know, wrestling is very much a 7-day-a-week job for both of us. We're either doing something to help promote a show that we're going to be on. We're in the gym 7 days a week. We're actually in my gym at the house right now.
Making merch.
Yeah, making merch. You know, there's always something to do, and it's not just on show days. The show days aren't really what we want to be paid for. It's the travel, the time away from our family. The bump card is a real thing, and it's going to be full one day. But we work pretty hand in hand with NetPro. Last week, I was there. They hired my wife to take promo shots of some of their trainees that are getting ready to start working shows. And I was like, well, I'm here anyways. And I just put the boots on, got in the ring, and they were kind of having a slower day. And I was like, all right, here's your goal. Put me on my ass. Simple as that. I'm not teaching you wrist locks. I'm not teaching you hip tosses. I'm teaching you how to defend yourself. So for 2.5 hours, I had 3 of their students in there, and they were taking turns just trying to take me down. And I was, you know, either blocking it. I think maybe once they actually got me down, but showing them different ways, you know, to protect from getting your leg picked, or, you know, to just basically protect yourself in general, because there are egos in wrestling. And not everybody's friends, and you have to know how to handle yourself. And that's kind of one of the things that's missing today. My very first singles match, dude broke my nose and blacked both my eyes, the first year of our careers, there was another tag team that just took liberties with us every single event, and we didn't know anything different. You know, we were paying our dues. We were listening to the vets that if they got in the ring, you know, with us today, he would stretch them like a pretzel and I'd slam them throw so hard they'd go through the mat. We don't take that, you know. We don't want to see these kids get taken advantage of. We don't want to see them get bullied. Again, we're not their trainers. Dangerous Dan Matthews is their trainer. Crazy Steve is their trainer. You know, but those guys.
Wednesdays, Ricky Morton is.
Ricky Morton now is their trainer. After he left School of Morton, he's the trainer. Him and Kerry Morton train on Wednesdays down there. But, you know, we take some of these kids on the road with us. We don't want to see nobody get stepped on. We don't want to see what happened to us our first year in the business happen to anybody else because we didn't know better. What we know now, man, if you could take 2025 Jeff Baker and Jeff Connolly and put us in 2010's card, the guys that took advantage of us, sorry, we're known for being a little no nonsense, and you know we handle things a lot different. But you know, nobody back then was going to smarten you up or tell you, "Hey, man, stand up for yourself."
So let me ask you this then, and I think that's a great segue. With, do you think there is a balance of having respect for the business, but also not being bullied?
I think overall, not being a bully shows respect for the business.
There's got to be a little. There's got to be a little.
Yeah, there has to be a little, but
tough love.
Yeah,
you know, tough love is a thing.
Doing it just because you can is a lot different than doing it for
a reason,
a teachable moment.
I mean, Jeff stooged off one of the students in the group chat because I'm not in the group chat. He stooged one of the kids off and said, Baker respectably kicked my ass for 2.5 hours the other day and was teaching me how to take care. He's like, that was really nice of him. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome, kid. You know, I put you in the sugar hole, baby. But, you know, like, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place for a firm hand, but, you know, wrestling owes us nothing. You know, we owe a lot to wrestling, and I don't want to see some traditions die, but there's a balance, right? In a wrestling school, you can go learn how to take an arm drag. You can go learn how to take a hip toss. You can go learn how to do all these moves.
All the tactical wrestling for me.
You can learn all of that in a wrestling school. You're not really learning how to work until you're in front of a live crowd. Connolly can sit there with a guy and they can talk about stuff for an hour. It's going in one ear and out the other with me. I'm listening to the crowd. I'm giving the crowd what they want. Good guy, bad guy, I don't care. I'm listening to them. If they don't like something, we're shying away from that. If they hate something and I'm a bad guy, I'm doing more of that. If they get really loud when I'm a babyface, I'm probably doing bad guy stuff still. It doesn't matter. We never change.
No.
We never change. Our character never changes from the Carolinas to Tennessee to Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky. We're always the faction. We're always the same. It's the crowd that changes. It's the person we're wrestling that changes.
And I like hearing that because I think, especially today, there are, and again, me being an old school guy, I enjoy more of an old school feel. But in the same token, I don't want to take away from the younger guys and girls bringing new things into the business and being able to excite the newer generation. But I think there, like y'all said, a balance to it, because there was a balance of you back in the day. You protected the business because everybody believed it to be real. Today's generation, you can look online, you see guys hang out together and everything else, and that's fine, but the magic still has to be there.
So the best way to say that is, back in the day, the fans thought it was real and the wrestlers knew it wasn't. Today, the fans know it's an angle, but the wrestlers think it's real. They get in their heads. They fight up with each other. We don't do local drama. We don't do drama on the road. We don't care. He's there to wiggle his hips, and I'm there to talk about somebody's old lady in the front row every show. You know, it is what it is. You know, the whole talk about, you know, wrestling being predetermined, wrestling being fake, wrestling being protected. There's still ways that we protect the business, and those aren't ways we can talk about on camera. It still happens. You know, we're looking out for the young guys. We're looking out for ourselves. We're looking out for the promoters. We're doing everything that we can to make the show that we're on this week, next week, the most successful show it can be. We're working for the promoter. We're working for the promotion before ourselves. You know, we can go out there and have a good match, but if that company goes over, that's one less place for us to go have a good match.
Yeah.
You know, just last week, we had a show canceled and we were a last minute addition, and the promoter said, you guys pushed the show harder than anybody that was on the show, including the name. You guys went out there as baby faces, and this was a mall show. We walked the mall for 2 hours talking to people, drumming up interest. He said, you were the most professional people we have ever worked with. And we're like, we're just trying to do good business. We're just trying to have a place to come back to.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying, if wrestling grows, you know, we would like to see wrestling here in the Tri-Cities get bigger. We work for the biggest promotions there are in the Tri-Cities, but if one of these littler ones can start to get bigger and cause us to have to step our game up, competition's good for everybody. You know, it's healthy. Now, we're also willing to try to stomp out a lot of shows that don't need to be ran too, but that's another story for another time.
So what is one of the things that makes both of y'all the proudest of being in the business for as long as you have been?
Man,
That's rough.
yeah, there's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows.
One thing that I've always, like, I'm proud of is being able to help others. You know, teach somebody, you know, a new hold, or, you know, teach somebody really from the ground up, be a mentor for the up and coming. That's one thing I love. You know, going back to Evan, seeing the things he's doing now, knowing that I had a small part in, you know, at least getting him started, I'm over, you know, head over heels for him. He's doing amazing, and I love it.
I mean, we're in our 40s. We know what it is. We're not getting a big contract, you know, but we're going out there and having fun, and we're giving families memories. There are people that came up, you know, when they were younger watching us that are now bringing their kids. And that's one of the things that's missing in wrestling now is the entertainment aspect.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of sports entertainment out of the two of us because the bump card's almost full. But I mean, we still can hang with the young guys. We can still go out there and have matches with the guys doing flips. We can still go out there and do multi-man scramble matches. We've had to do hardcore matches, intergender matches, all kinds of stuff this year. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when you've got us on a card, you're going to have believability. You're going to have entertainment. They may never go out of here saying the faction had a 5-star match. They're a match of the night. We do hear match of the night from time to time.
Yeah.
But they're always going to be entertained. They're always going to get up and boo me so loud that we think they're about to rush the ring, which has happened more times than I'd like to admit. Or they're going to stop us, you know, at the gym or at the store, and it's even happened to us out of state. Like, people recognize us and tell us, man, we went to the show last year. I can't remember anything about the show. I can't remember any of the finishes. I can't remember any of the moves. Y'all made me laugh, or y'all made me mad, or my grandma hit you with a cane, which actually did happen. The old lady hit me with a cane, and I did. Like, for me, as far as being proud, I guess, and I'm proud of you for this too. Here in the last 3 years, we've completely transformed our bodies. We're in a lot better health. I blew up to like close to 300 pounds at one point. I was just complacent, going through the motions. I was just kind of stagnant in wrestling and life, complacent, lazy. And one of the best things that ever happened to me is I broke my leg in a match. Because when I broke my leg, I was out for 9 months. I was in a brace for about 6. Had to go to physical therapy to be able to walk good again. And I told him, I'm coming back. And when I come back, I'm going to be in trunks. No more fat, no more lazy, no more complacent. So I lost about 80 pounds. And then I put on what we say about 40, 50 pounds of muscle.
Roughly.
It helped, not just in wrestling. My matches are better now. My cardio is better now. My strength is better now. My physique is better now. I'm getting a lot more bookings, but I was diabetic. I was at risk for heart disease. I'm going to be here a lot longer for my kid now. You know, I'm not going to leave a widow and a young kid because dad wasn't taking care of himself. So part of it was motivated by wrestling. And then the rest was like, okay, I've lost 10 pounds. Let's push this. Let's lose 10 more. You know, I did 45 minutes on the elliptical. Let's go an hour. I put up, man, when I got back in the gym, I wasn't lifting very heavy, but now it's like, I got 4 plates on this damn thing. Let's go ahead and load, you know, a 25 on it. Pushing more weight than I've ever pushed. And like I said, we got sexy. We started getting booked a lot more. I don't know. It just happened. We never took the look the part thing very serious, and we should have. We'd probably go a lot farther than we are now.
I flirted with taking the look serious, but something always happened. You know, I ended up hurting my lower back, gained some weight, lost it. Then COVID happened, gained the weight back, then tore my ACL.
Had a bunch of kids,
yeah,
gained sympathy weight. I had one kid, gained sympathy weight.
But yes, I am wearing American.
He is wearing an American Male shirt. Shout out Buff Bagwell. American man.
But next thing you know, I see a picture of me on TV, and it's a side profile, and self-hate is a hell of a motivator.
It is. It is. It can be a positive emotion if you use it to better yourself. And he does that to me all the time too. He'll get like a bad camera angle of me and send it to me and be like, that's not the body guy that I know. Like if you see the sign behind me in my gym, it says body guy, you know, like we take it serious every day. We're lifting. We're cutting calories more than we're not cutting calories. He's way more strict, obviously, than I am. But I lost a lot of weight. And then he's like, well, damn, Baker lost a lot of weight. I lost weight so I could look more like him. And then he's like, I'm going to lose a hell of a lot more weight than you lost. And then he lost a lot. So now I still look fat. Thanks, you. I can't say that word on TV.
Well, hey, somebody got to be the body guy.
Yeah.
It works good.
Yeah. To the point where Paul London nicknamed me the big beefy bastard. He just came back. He had a match in Bristol, Tennessee. And I hadn't seen him yet. I was in the back. You know, I try not to bother important people. And he came back from the ring and almost run into me while I was getting ready to go out. And he just stops. He's like, you big, beautiful, beefy bastard. So it stuck. So Triple B. But.
So real quickly, I want to talk about Evan Golden. Me and him, I've got a chance to meet him before. He's been on my show, and I ran into him last 2 Saturdays ago at his show. And man, he saw me, he lit up.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh man, he is such a cool kid.
I love that kid.
And he's such his work rate is tremendous, and I want to thank you for him because you helped instill something in him that is going to last him a lifetime.
I hope so.
And
even if he looks like miniature Kenny Omega, Mini Omega.
I I'm a serial cheater. I'm a tag whore.
It's okay. We're polyslammerous. We're up to people occasionally.
Me and Evan have a team that we've only had a couple matches, but the 24 karat males.
Yeah. Which we had a gimmick that we were trying not to get sued over. You know, we're East Tennessee guys. We're up here in the Smoky Mountains. We've been the faction forever. You know, we've had a couple of different names. We're the Collective. We were the Hardliners. We've been together longer than we've been with our wives. You know, we've been together for a long time. But we really flirted around with the idea of the Dollywood blondes. You know, we're from the Smokies, man. And it's like, I really love Aunt Dolly. I don't want her to sue me.
Right.
So I gentrified it, and I'm from Mount Holly, New Jersey. That's where I was born. So now I'm the Mount Hollywood blonde.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So
He's cool though. I like Evan.
I love Evan.
So
I would punch him in the face if I see him, but I still love you, kid. Russell, that's on our list. We want to, you know, let's call him out. Let's call him out.
Yeah.
Eddie Golden, you old decrepit fart, dust them boots off, pull them trunks up, you and your son versus the faction sometime in 2026.
I love you guys.
I love that. I love that. And hey, they had some tag gold and they were talking a lot of stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah, his dad's known to be one of the smoothest hands in the history of this area. And I never had the opportunity to work with him. And I've never been in the ring with Evan. We're buddies, and I see him. He lives about an hour down, so we see him all the time. He was living in Asheville. I wrestled in Asheville a lot. There you go. Dave Sharp. Hey, let's give a shout out to Dave real quick. I don't know if you saw on social media the show that we did at the Asheville Mall this weekend.
Yes. Eddie is in Asheville.
He is in Asheville. So I'll say this. Dave, his wife Stacy, Joe Wheeler had their very first show. And it was amazing. It was a success. And I'm going to tell y'all what I told Dave right now. We've worked for shows that have run for 15, 20 years that were not run that smooth. They treated us all like stars. They brought in catering. Shout out to Ramona. She is my favorite now. This little lady that they had there, she's been a wrestling fan, she said, since the 60s. I don't want to date her, you know, like put the age out there or anything. But
No,
she's like, Cookie. Yeah, Cookie. That's a different story. There's a lady at Belk named Cookie. Don't tell the wife. I know she's upstairs watching. We're about to have heat now. Thanks. But yeah, there's a little old lady named Cookie that worked at the Belk, and she came out and saw us, and she's like, oh Lord, all I wanted was 2 handsome boys for Christmas. So we went back when she went back to work. We went and saw her and all her little old friends working at the Belk. But Hometown Pro Wrestling in Asheville. They catered. They brought in food. What I was saying about Ramona, she's like, these boys are big and strong. They got to have their protein. I'm like, did we just become best friends? Because that's how you become best friends with me. You know, we're on the road, and, you know, the hot dog and the handshake joke, we're here to get paid. We got bills to pay. You know, we travel a lot. We wrestle a lot. We have probably one of the heaviest schedules of any tag team in the Southeast. And for them to take care of not only our pay, our gas, to feed us, you know, make sure we were taken care of. They were there. Dave's wife, Stacy, would check on us throughout the show. Are you guys good? Do y'all need anything? Like, class act, man. It was their very first show, and I want to be there on their 100th show. Like, for real. Like, you guys did an amazing job. Hometown Pro Wrestling in Asheville was awesome.
Okay. So I will say this, Dave, holler at me on Facebook. I'm having a promotion appreciation month. Love to get you on. Love to promote your promotion. If these guys say you're cool, I don't believe them, but I believe you. So
yeah. And his business partner, Joe Wheeler, I think Joe may have called my very first match on commentary almost 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of a rib when Dave messaged us for the spot. I found out Joe was, you know, his partner. So I put us all in a group chat, and I was like, look, man, we'll come in and work for you, but I don't know about this Joe Wheeler guy. I heard he's kind of sketchy, but you know, Joe's a good dude. Really great ring announcer if you need one. Really great commentator. They took really good care of us, and it was honestly one of the more fun shows that I've had.
We had a blast.
Yeah,
I had one guy on the card call me about an hour after, and he was like, you know, I told him we're still there, and he's like, why are you still there? I was like,
because Dave still owed us a pretzel from the pretzel stand, brother.
We didn't get it to us.
Yeah, we never got the pretzel.
No,
it's okay. We got some sushi though.
Yeah, we're still doing the rounds at the mall, trying to, you know, get
interest.
Yeah, get more interest in the promotion and everything.
We literally got on the little kitty animal rides that you see them ride around the whole mall, the little electric gimmicks, in our trunks, and we're riding around the mall in our trunks. We went to the Barnes and Nobles in our trunks. Victoria wouldn't tell us what the secret was.
Santa wouldn't let us sit on.
Yeah, Santa wouldn't let us sit on his lap. That's the heat. That's the elf. Santa said that we were naughty. He's not wrong, ladies, you know. But yeah, it was an unsalted pretzel. But like, you know, the mall staff was cool. The mall was like, that thing y'all did with the animals was funny. Let's take some videos and promote the mall. We're like, yeah, let's do it. You know, if we can make Hometown look good, bring Hometown back. Come on, throw them a bone. So we're just going around trying to get pictures with, you know, the staff. Also, shout out to the Journey staff.
Yeah.
Because they loved our match. They were going crazy. They're like, you got robbed. Those guys cheated. And we're like, yeah, I know. Screw those guys. The whole Journey staff was jumping up and down. The ring was right outside Journey's.
They got a free show.
But yeah, Santa Claus. They're like, this is a professional photography company. You can't take a picture for free. And we're like, we're not trying to work you. This is literally for the mall. This is a charity show. And they're like, Santa doesn't care. And we're like, you know what? Easter Bunny would have let us done it. In fact, I got a picture of me and Jason Kincaid with the Easter Bunny somewhere. And we're also wearing our gear. We've just got a thing for walking around in public in our trunks. I don't know what it is. Parades, Golden Corral. It's happened. Look it up. But, yeah. It is what it is.
Thank you, Tim.
Guys, half the time, I just think Connolly's here just so he can wiggle his hips and shake and point at people.
That's all I want to do at this age.
That's all he wants to do. Yeah, I just want to talk about your mama, your girlfriend, your grandma. You know, they all love Jeff Baker.
It's that consistency that makes the world go around.
Yeah. Around.
Guys, I hate to do this because it's such a great episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're going to have to cut this short.
You mind if we give a couple real quick plugs?
Of course not.
Yeah. So again, shout out to Hometown. But we are actually going to have a little bit of a residency at NetPro this month. This Friday, if you're not doing anything, we are actually having a benefit toy drive for the Salvation Army. I'm sorry, for Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots. Salvation Army was a little while ago. Sorry, we try to be a little charitable. Toys for Tots fundraiser this Friday at NetPro and Kingsport. Also, one that's really important. Our friend Hillary Freeman has been in the hospital for quite a while. Lou, her husband, is the promoter of Imperial Pro Wrestling in Bristol, which is one of our favorite places to work. He's taking great care of us. Hillary's not doing so well. She's been hooked up to every kind of machine you can think of for the last month.
I think it's 44 days is what he posted today.
We want to see Hillary kick this thing's ass and get better. We're not going to go into the medical details on the podcast, but Lou, we want you to know that the wrestling community does care about you. We care about you. Check your messages. You know, if you need anything, holler at us. We love you, dude. Outside of this wrestling crap, dude, you're our guy. You've always been good to us. But on the 21st at NetPro Studios, Hillary's nickname is Bill. We're doing the battle for Bill. We're trying to raise as much money as we can to help Lou and Hillary and her medical bills and their daughters. And we want to pack the place out, sell as many seats as we can. When we're out of seats, we want to sell a line out the damn door. And we want to raise as much money for the Freeman family as we can. We also have Southern States Wrestling coming up on the day after Christmas Star Wars.
Boxing night.
That one's kind of important to us because this year we have won 4 tag titles. That is the only one that we don't still have. So we're coming back after those tag belts. In fact, we're coming after the singles belts. We're coming for everything we can get at Southern States Wrestling. That will be on the 26th, and then
27th.
The 27th, the very next night,
The finale.
Innovate Wrestling. The Dragon. You know, that's where we started. We're the current reigning United States Tag Team Champions at Innovate Wrestling. These belts lineage go back to the NWA. These were, before Billy Corgan bought it, these were the NWA United States tag titles. Corgan bought the company, created new belts. This is the lineage. This is the one that goes back to all the big names. And we're very proud to be the champions at Innovate.
And we'll be defending them at the beautiful Bobby Eaton Arena.
Yeah, Bobby Eaton Arena on the 27th. So that's like 5 opportunities to see us before the end of the year. Like I said, we keep a busy schedule. And 26 is still pretty wide open. We want to get back to your area a little bit more. We want to get back towards, you know, Knoxville and all that. There's a couple of new places that I've heard are starting up around there, and a couple that we've worked at for a while that we haven't been to in a while.
Kapow?
No, Kapow's not coming back. Kapow's never coming back. Kapow's never coming back. If Kapow comes back, we're booked and we're going to be there. But Kapow's never coming back. They tease it all the time. Kapow's never coming back. But hey, congratulations on a year of the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Are we the first guests of the second year?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So
from here, brother. I'm just
I not that I have any sway in a particular company, but I know a company that I think would fit y'all pretty good. I will get with y'all here in later this week.
The one downfall that you have with us is we do have such a busy schedule that a lot of places when they get us, they're like, we got to have you on every show. We love you guys. You got to be here.
You can work with anybody.
No matter. It just, we're busy, and a lot of the time we're already booked 3, 4, 5 months out. So
I mean, I understand, but like I said, I will get with y'all after this.
Please
in
do.
a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm
I'm not gonna really want to listen to what I got to say.
Yeah, I'm from West Knox. You know, I grew up right down Kingston Pike. You know, so that area is special to me. That area is special to wrestling in general. Like, if y'all don't know Knoxville wrestling history, do yourself a favor, look it up. Same with Kingsport, man.
Yeah.
East Tennessee is so rich in wrestling.
I'm going to be coming up that way. I am starting to journey up north more to get out there. And Ricky specifically told me that I need to get my butt up there. So,
yeah. Well, if you come up our way, we've got one waiting for you at Will Call.
Hey, also, Bear subs.
You know what? How dare we?
I know.
Cheating on them with another Bear right now. Shout out to Bear Subs in Bristol, Tennessee. They're like our biggest sponsor, and I'd say probably our biggest fans. Darla, Stevie Jr., the other 1,500 kids they got, because Darla and Stevie really love each other a lot. Bear Subs, where you can get the faction burger, the closer, the big beefy burger. Like, man, they've taken such good care of us. They feed us. Their food is yummy and tasty, and they're just generally good people.
Enough to feed a bear.
Yeah. If you get there in time, because let me tell you, brother, these people sell out. They sell out every single day. Man, I wish there could be a bit. I'm glad that they're an hour away, because I would be back to that big old 300 pound. They've got so much good stuff, man. So if you come up this way, holler at us. We're going to take a bear to see the Bears, and we're going to get you hooked up, man. They need, you know what? We're going to start working on them right now. We're politic. Professor Bear Sub.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our own food items.
Man.
Oh, you get a donut, you get the bear claw, paws up.
Paws up. Guys, thank you so much. I've super enjoyed y'all. y'all would definitely be back.
Yeah, I'll always take an opportunity to talk about myself, brother. And the
guys, girls, thank you for watching. And again, as always, support local wrestling. You never know who you see getting their start. You never know who you may run into. Give that love and support to them. I am Professor Bear. This is a Bear's Thought, and we will be back around the campfire soon. Y'all have a great evening.